Hey, y'all. Delegators, we're back. We found out about that controversy with Sanders. Crazy, isn't it? A lot of different issues, a lot of different points of view. What are y'all's points of view?
I'm going to take this one first, Bruce. Listen, there's no doubt that he was probably one of the top two, if not, top three quarterbacks in the draft. And for that many players to get drafted and him to go in the fifth round, just no one expected that. But
Yeah.
it's pretty evident that they were sending a message. And the message wasn't so much to Shedeur, it was more to his father, that you may be who you are, you might be doing some big things in Colorado, but you're not gonna put your weight on the NFL and tell us where he's gonna go and where he's not gonna go. And I think that was a message being sent. So whether all of the NFL owners have a back phone and they pick it up and all the other 31 phones ring at the same time and they have a discussion around how this is going to play out, or hey, we need to send a message. But I mean, it's clearly a message was sent because the NFL, they're in it to make money. They're in it to win games, and passing up on an elite talent to send a message isn't always the smartest thing. But at the same time, I think, and listen, there's no doubt that this kid probably got caught up in the crossfire in terms of like just his positioning in the draft. But to me, it wasn't so much about them passing on him down into the fifth round. It was more about the NFL sending a message back to his dad that you don't run jack here. So all the stuff you're doing in Colorado, it's great. And listen, even when some considerations were going around last at the end of the season, NFL season, maybe people were talking to Deion Sanders, and maybe it was some things he said when they were having some informal conversations around him coaching, and they didn't like it. Because here's the thing, they compete each other. They compete. These teams, all 32 teams compete, but they all talk to each other. They all talk to each other, one way or the other. So that's my take on the whole situation. It's weird. It's odd, but I mean, he got drafted. I don't know exactly what Cleveland's gonna do with another quarterback, but
Cleveland's the
maybe
place
they'll
you
figure it out.
Quarterbacks go to die.
That's where they're going to die. Yeah.
They're in Chicago. Two horrible places for a quarterback to get drafted.
What do you think, Jaden? I mean, you may see it from a different perspective. What do you see? Like, do you think there was any message being sent, or do you just think that, hey, other teams were just being objective and saying, you know what, he ain't the right fit for us?
Well, obviously, there were three main teams that were the favorites to take Shedeur. It was the Chicago Bears, you had the New Orleans Saints, and then you had the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Chicago Bears, sorry, not Chicago Bears. Browns, Cleveland Browns, my bad. Cleveland. Okay. So it was Cleveland, New Orleans, and Pittsburgh. Cleveland, obviously, Deshaun Watson's going to be out for the season. Joe Flacco's 40 years old. You need a quarterback. Whether you're going to start him, whether you're going to start Joe Flacco, you need a quarterback. This quarterback room is decent. They obviously weren't feeling Shedeur. They weren't going to take him with that number 2 overall. That was solidified for Travis Hunter. Then they decided to trade back, which I think was a phenomenal trade for Cleveland, because you get a first-round pick next year and you're only moving back 3 spots. But what I saw that was crazy is if they didn't make that trade, they would have had a chance to get Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, because he went undrafted the whole first round. They could have got Travis Hunter with a second, and then they have the first pick of the second round, and they could have just taken Shedeur Sanders and had both of the Colorado jersey retired, elite duo back in Cleveland. Now, the other team, Saints, I thought they were going to take him. I mean, it was probably my third, but I thought that they were at least going to take him when he was passed up by the Browns. They decided not to for some reason. They took that quarterback out of Louisville, Stroh or something like that. It's like Travis Stroh. Anyways, crazy. I don't understand why they would take him over Shedeur. It doesn't make sense to me, but maybe there's something there. And then Pittsburgh. And that's the thing that upsets me, is that Pittsburgh, I think that they, in their heads, they were like, we have the ball here. Like, we can do whatever we want. We can wait as long as we want because we know no other team is going to take them. The teams that needed a quarterback already took other quarterbacks. So all that was really left was Pittsburgh, because no one thought the Browns were going to double down on 2 quarterbacks. Nobody thought that. So Pittsburgh was like, oh, we can draft him whenever because he'll be on the clock. Nobody's going to take him. And then out of nowhere, Cleveland ends up taking him before. So now the Steelers are now stuck with, and not a bad quarterback, but Will Howard, which is, in my opinion, nowhere near where Shedeur Sanders is. So I think, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they were, thinking they could do whatever they wanted. They had the ball in their hands. They could take as much time as they want, use a later draft pick, and then got it taken from them by their division rivals, which doubled down on the quarterback. So I think the league did Shedeur dirty. They played with him too much. I think it's not his fault based off of what he is. I know I know he brags a lot and he's not exactly the best personality, but at the end of the day, he still has a lot of talent. He comes from a good household, and I don't think he deserved to be treated like that at all, especially with the amount of talent and high draft stock that he had going into the draft.
From what I understand, he went into interviews not taking things seriously, making demands that, especially as a undrafted so far a quarterback, you can't come in making comments and demands like you're a superstar already, And even myself being in the film industry, man, there's a certain way that you approach your auditions and your whatever interviews that you have. You have to come in there and you have to prove that you're a right fit for the role. And that includes, the biggest thing is, can you follow directions? And see, that's what happens in auditions. They want to know, okay, can you take direction? Oh, but that's not it. Can you also take redirection? So when we tell you to look to the left and they say, okay, now look to the right, they don't want you to go, nah, man, I ain't doing all that. I already looked to the left like you told me to. No. You need to take the redirection also. And I feel like Shedeur proved that he wasn't teachable, he wasn't coachable. And in fact, you can't tell me what to do. My dad's Shedeur Sanders. So that's kind of where that's kind of the way I look at it, that he really just kind of hurt himself. But now he has a chance to prove himself because he did get drafted overall, and he's going to have to go out there and prove, okay, am I a starter for this team? Okay, if I don't start, can I sit the bench and wait my turn quietly and respectfully like a rookie quarterback should do? So the story's not over. We'll see how the story ends.
Okay, you guys got an opinion about the Sanders debate? Let us know down there. Share and like. Let us know, but we'll see you next time.